Arrowhead Properties has continued to outperform the market with a distribution growth of 19%. Joining me is Gerald Leissner. He's the Chief Executive of Arrowhead Properties. Gerald, thanks for your time. Just want to start off by looking at your revenue. That's increased significantly. So we're sitting at around 555 million. This is from 270.
Okay. Look, that in the main is due to acquisitions. You know, so when you're looking at 6 months against 6 months or year against a year, our business has grown dramatically since we started 3.5 years ago. So that particular figure in the main is because of acquisitions, but obviously there's been revenue growth. And we did show the market that what we call our core portfolio, which was the underlying properties in our business, that those had grown very nicely as well. So, you know, so that's the reason for that increase.
And your strategy will remain acquisitive at this stage?
Our model requires that. In order to show that overperformance, we need to keep on acquiring assets that are revenue enhancing, and that's the way we give the extra performance in our portfolio.
I just want to look at your vacancies. They've increased. We're sitting at about just over 8%. Just some of the reasons behind that. Is that a cause for concern?
Okay. The main reason in the 6 months is the Ellerines portfolio. You know, Ellerines went into business rescue. About 1.5% of our income came from Ellerines. There were 17 stores in our portfolio at about 12,000 square meters. We've been able to re-let about 60% of that, and we've got offers out for another 10–15%. So that created the main extra vacancy in our portfolio. We also had one large tenant in Johannesburg, a company that had 10,000 square meters at a low rental, but also vacated. We've let 40%
University?
of that. No, Monash didn't come into the 6 months. The Monash challenge that we have at present only started the 1st of April, and it's something that we have to unwind. We have to do something with that over the next 6 months, although it won't affect our performance, but we really need to get that right. But we're not concerned about the vacancies. The market is a bit tougher, but I think the management is good. We've got lots of little units. Our risk profile is very good, so I think that we can handle the vacancies.
You said you want to do something about Monash University. How significant was that? Just give us, some
Monash
contextualize
pays us
it.
about 2 million a month.
Okay.
So say 24 million rand a year. In terms of our business, that's about 5 cents a unit onto what we earned, which is 79 cents for this coming year, we think. So it's something that we need to resolve. But as we've said in our presentations, that we haven't taken anything in for Monash for the next 6 months. But all that we really want is we want to get the space back, and we want to re-let it.
Obviously, securing those contracts is very key in terms of your lease agreements. I spoke to the Chief Executive of Redefine, I think, last week, and we spoke about the pressures. He said it's a very tough environment, water, electricity going up, escalations. Will this mean that your tenants will be paying more? And what impact is this going to have on your retention ratio?
Look, I think we, like most other landlords today, have to be flexible. When you talk about retention, I think if a business is going to get smaller, they're going to get smaller. If a business is going to go out of business, they're going to go out of business. But if a business is going to remain basically the same size, there's a cost of moving, moving to another premises. So what we need to do is we need to be on top of with our tenants, talk to them, and see to it that we come to the right answer with the tenant and that they don't move. And I think that's the market we're in now. Certainly in the office market, you can't afford to lose tenants. Retail market slightly differently. You know, people create a brand, they have a goodwill in their business. That's slightly different. But certainly in the office market, you need to be careful. So I would suggest that in the office market, the growth in rentals is going to be under pressure.
South Africa is a tough market.
Well, I think it's not growing at present. You need growth in the economy, especially in the office market.
So any ambitions to go outside of our borders in order to get more growth?
Arrowhead's in South Africa, and that's what it is at present.
Let's talk about your acquisitions. Any ones that you have earmarked in terms of buying vacant land or buying on your office space?
We don't do developments, so really our business is buying revenue streams. Revenue streams that we can see growing over time. So we buy completed properties. We're in every sector and we're in every part of the country. What we have concentrated on in this past 6 months is the acquisition of residential. We've grown our residential portfolio in Arrowhead to about, with acquisitions we did at the beginning of April, we now have a portfolio of about $1.5 billion, and we are on track to list that portfolio of properties in a separate vehicle in which Arrowhead will be the main shareholder. But there's certainly a tremendous pipeline in that area. We are looking at a mixed portfolio at present of commercial properties, that's industrial and offices basically, and then we're looking at one large shopping centre which we've made an offer, which has been accepted, but we need to do due diligence. So we're looking at about R1 billion in that area, and we're looking at considerable more acquisitions in the residential area.
Gerald, thank you so much. Hopefully we'll get you back here in 6 weeks to come, because you'll be talking to us about that residential only listing that will be coming.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was Gerald Leissner, the Chief Executive of Arrowhead Properties.